Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ben Chodor, and you're watching On Air with Ben Chodor. Our topic for our first show is WebRTC, right? So real-time communication, right? Web and real-time communication. So I wanted to tell you why I think this is a great topic, and we have 5 amazing guests. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 amazing guests, all right? So the first thing is why I love WebRTC. So I built a streaming company in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, and I sold it. And we were one of the first Flash-based companies. And I was always looking, man, wouldn't it be amazing if I not only can have a didactic presentation or a panel presentation, but I also could bring in guests with me and I can stream it out. But there really was no really eloquent way that would enable people to watch it on iPhones and computers and laptops and via social and wherever they want to watch. Then voila, came this technology, WebRTC. And the product you're looking at right now is Studio by InExpo, right? But it enables me to do a live, multi-person broadcast like CNN, which is mind-boggling, right? It is the future. The future is now, it's not tomorrow. The second thing it enables me to do is I still can have an encoded broadcast where tens of thousands of people can watch anywhere. But I get to be television. It's my television encoding in the sky. But enough about why I love WebRTC. Let's talk to the real experts and real use cases. Let me bring in my first and only in-studio guest, because hey, it's not just about using WebRTC, it's about using the technology and having communication. Let me introduce you to Mark. Mark, CEO, founder of Open Exchange, one of the coolest companies in the financial world. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for having me, Ben.
As a little thing, I've known Mark for a while, been a fan of his company. He was doing WebRTC several years ago, way before anyone was, and using technologies like video, just enabled to have multi-way communication. Why, Mark? Why is it so important to be able to have real-time communications?
So the Open Exchange built this platform for the biggest financial services firms to be able to take all the content that they're creating every single day and reach the institutional investor world. And so if I gave you the top 10 investment banks in the world, they'd be Goldman, JP Morgan, HSBC, Citi, and a bunch of others. And we work with 8 out of 10 of those. They have events around the world every single day. It could be Tesla doing a presentation from Tokyo. It could be the CEO of J&J doing a presentation with investors. And we need to have a combination of endpoints so that people can watch that. Some of the biggest institutions like Fidelity and Capital, they're going to use telepresence rooms to take that stream in and actually participate over the video. But there's an awful lot of smaller companies, smaller hedge funds, and other individuals that really don't have video capability. And so WebRTC has proven a way for them to participate in this either one way or two way, and it's been very effective for us over the last couple of years.
So are you finding, so on the other side, it's one thing the presenter who's offering what they're offering to their audience, but the ability now for the other side to not just ask audio questions or type questions, but to actually have a conversation like you and I are having, does it change the game?
It definitely changes the game because now you're not constrained by what type of equipment each individual entity has. We may start with something they're really comfortable with, and invariably we want people to use whatever they're familiar with. So it becomes all about the video, all about the event itself, rather than how am I doing this. So those that have nothing, this WebRTC has just been perfect to get them involved very quickly.
Is there a technology speed bump, roadblock, or are you finding these big organizations where security comes first are embracing it?
No, I would say the biggest companies still have big firewall issues. So if it's HSBC, UBS, Citi, the WebRTC at the desktop is more of on a taking in on a one-way basis. Citi is using PEXIP. Other people are using Zoom. But if they're kind of pushing it out, they're still very comfortable with their video conference rooms for pushing the content out.
If we have this conversation in 3 years from now, is it going to be the same?
No, you're going to start seeing people move away from the video conference rooms and the way that people can participate in these. Right now, the bottleneck is as the video participation take-up is so fast, all the video conference rooms are booked. And so now the dialogue is, how do I get it to the desktop so that everybody involved here can participate in a permissioned way and in a secure way?
It's awesome. Awesome. Anything else you want to tell the audience about Open Exchange, about how you're using video?
Well, one thing I said to Ben before this is that WebRTC is really a stepping stone. There is no silver bullet for video. At this stage, everybody has different ways they've got into the video game. They have different use cases. Open Exchange does a lot of one-on-one videos. It could be, again, the CEO of J&J talking with a portfolio manager at Fidelity. But we've got almost 2,000 different entities connected to our exchange. So we're seeing more top 10 money managers all around the table on a screen. And then we may be doing sort of a WebRTC one-way kind of a webcast out to another 100. And we're starting to do live stream now to maybe 500 to 1,000. So we're getting the whole video spectrum involved, and WebRT's in the middle of it.
Well, it's got to be part of the mix, right? You can't just be a one-to-many. You can't just be a many-to-many. You got to do it all. All right, we're going to ask Mark a lot more questions, but now I want to bring in my first two remote guests. I want to bring in Guy and Frank from a really cool company, Pier 5. Gentlemen, one of you are in San Francisco. One of you is in Israel. Welcome to the show. How are you guys today?
Great. Yeah. Thanks so much for having us.
Hey, thank you.
See, now I want everyone remotely
Guy
to guess
from Tel Aviv.
I was going to ask the audience Guy to guess who's who, but Guy is from Tel Aviv. Guy, I'm going to start off with you. All right. The guts of WebRTC is a history lesson, right? Applications, WebRTC outside the video communication world. First, what is Pier 5 all about and why? Give us some history on it.
Yeah. So I think we are coming from a little different take of the WebRTC community. We started off 5 years ago when WebRTC was basically in the beginning and wasn't even implemented in any browser actually. It was the only browser that we was implemented in. It was a browser by Ericsson that was not working on any other distribution system other than Linux, and we had to play with it a little bit. And then Google and Mozilla, entered that world and started to participate in the discussions. And from then, everything is history, and we now have it almost everywhere. So we have a little different angle on that from that space, because we're not doing the traditional video conferencing part of the protocol, of the WebRTC protocol. So our take is that we thought that the internet is not yet distributed enough, and it's not capable of streaming all that amount of data, especially not live streams. If you want to stream the Super Bowl, or if you want to stream, a town hall meeting for 10,000 employees, you can't really do it because either your connection will congest, or video will be very jittery and not working, or even if it will work, maybe other employees won't have the capacity to just work, on the internet. So we've built a CDN, which is based on peer-to-peer, which is based on WebRTC. And we can connect between peers seamlessly that are watching the same video, the same stream at the same time. And we help them distribute the content among each other in a way that is beneficial for both of them. And that helps them both, reduce the congestion on the,
I was going to jump in because I want to ask you, besides it helping with congestion and making it easier for everyone to communicate, the two of you and your organization are geeks when it comes to algorithms. Isn't the secret sauce of Pier 5 the algorithms that you've built?
It is.
Either
it is. The big, the big thing about any peer-to-peer, any peer mesh network is knowing how to match between peers that can benefit, the most to each other. And that's the most important thing. And some peers can't connect to each other. Some peers are from different ISPs. Some peers have different network capabilities. Some peers are behind symmetric NAT. And you have to know all this, to take all this into consideration when you want to match them, because you don't want to lose precious time and value when peer can help another peer, and you don't want to connect him or match him to a peer that can't help him and then waste time. Exactly. So we've been doing it for the last 5 years. We have a lot of experience with it. We are basing everything on data. So every change we're making, we're basing it on data, and we're
That's awesome.
doing a lot of this.
All right, I'm going to interrupt because I want Frank to talk. All right, so Frank, in San Francisco, what do you think the secret sauce that Pure 5 brings to the marketplace, and how has the market accepted Pure 5 as another way to deliver content?
Yeah, great question. So, well, first off, thanks so much for having us.
Welcome.
It's been really interesting to see how this space is developing so quickly. WebRTC has really opened the door for companies like Pure 5 to be able to help with a lot of different use cases. So one of the things that I do a lot of is speaking with folks that are in the broadcasting space. So folks that are actually streaming content over the open internet. Obviously, managing that kind of peak traffic problem is an issue for a lot of these folks. Being able to deliver television broadcast quality over the internet is really difficult. And at Pure 5, we see peer-to-peer as the only way in which folks are going to be able to do that moving forward, right? Additionally, as your previous guest had mentioned, for that enterprise use case, more and more folks are realizing that being in the conference room isn't going to be the end-all be-all solution for a lot of the webcasts and live casts that they do, whether it be for town halls or any other major event that they need everybody to be watching. So we've seen a lot of movement in that space, particularly for kind of like bandwidth saturation mitigation. We see a lot of folks that are trying to ensure that everybody can view their content at the same time and not have those major issues within their LAN or within their WAN. So we've seen a lot of adoption in that space as well, which has been really interesting. So we see Pure 5 as kind of the solution to add to their stack to make sure that they can solve that top viewership problem for tens of thousands of viewers at any given time.
I think it's amazing, and I think what everyone's doing at Pure 5, you guys included, is pretty incredible. And for the audience watching, check out Pure 5 because it not only what I've noticed on the site is there's a lot of knowledge there to learn, which is actually I'm going to come back to you guys in a little while when I bring everyone together. But it's the perfect segue to my next guest, Chad Hart. We're going to take you guys away. We're going to bring Chad in. Look at this technology. I'm bringing people from all over the world in together. Chad has the coolest basement office I've seen, but it sort of tees into what I was saying before. Pure 5 has some great information on their site. They do some really amazing work. Mark has a lot of practical experience doing this in the field. And here you are, a guy who's, as you say yourself, you were a geek, you were learning about WebRTC, so you started creating a blog, and next thing you know, 30,000 people look at his blog every single time. I mean, that's mind-boggling to me. Chad, welcome to the show. Tell us a little about yourself and why WebRTC.
Yeah, well, thanks for that great intro. So I'm an independent analyst and consultant. You can find out more about me at cwh.consulting, but I'm here to talk about my blog, which is WebRTC Hacks. I started that 5 years ago. WebRTC was a new technology. A couple of my colleagues at the time thought, well, maybe we should start writing about this, and we started pulling people in, and some of the experts that were early on in the standards community, and people that were building early stage products. And hey, would you like to write a post and help explain, this one technology or this one concept? And we got more and more people volunteering to do it, and that's just kind of pulled in the community. And as WebRTC has continued to grow, people keep going to the site, and we keep writing. So WebRTC Hacks is a blog for WebRTC developers. I mean, it's definitely a technical blog. It's for WebRTC people, but we explore some of the sub technology topics, go into things like how do you build a mobile app with WebRTC. And there's also a place I do some of my own experiments or trying to use WebRTC around the house for different use cases.
So since the organization and since what you're doing is called Web Hacks, WebRTC Hacks, give me a couple hacks. You got to share with the audience a couple of your favorites.
All right, so probably the most popular one I've done is I used to have this bulldog who would and we got a new couch, and the bulldog would jump up on the couch all the time, and I'd be away or at work or whatever. We want to get the dog off the couch, right? We would train him to do that. So I built, using WebRTC and some of the technology we're using here now, and a little robot, and just basically set up a system that detected when you jump on the couch and then called me, basically let me get in a video call, yell at him, see what he's doing, make sure he's really on the couch, and if he didn't get off, I hit a button and the robot would bump into him and push him off.
Bark cam, I love it. Give me one more.
Yeah.
Share us with one more.
I've been really interested in the intersection of WebRTC and other technologies like computer vision. I mean, you hear like terms like TensorFlow from Google coming around a lot. So I've been playing around with that quite a bit, and you can actually hook up some of these systems and do remote computer vision, detect cats and dogs and any kind of object out there remotely using this technology and combining some of this. So that's a couple of recent posts I had.
So what should the audience be aware of or be wary of if they go down the road of trying to figure out how does WebRTC work and what we're doing? How do we develop in it? What are some of the pitfalls that you've seen?
I think one of the bigger challenges is, WebRTC works really great on the web now. It's come a long way, especially recently with support in Safari in particular, right? But the challenge still is on mobile, right? And there's a lot of cases where really, if you want to have the optimal experience, doing a native mobile app is best. That's starting to change. But if you're going to actually implement WebRTC and build your own application, there is there's still a lot to worry about. If you just want to use somebody else's WebRTC application, the good news is there's less to worry about every day.
So let me ask you one last question. I'm going to ask everyone this at the end, but come on, when is Safari going to fully support it? Is it coming?
It's there today now. So yeah, as of in the latest High Sierra, as a Safari 11. It's there. So if you have an older iPhone, it might not support, that version of iOS. Right. You might not be able to upgrade. You'll get it today. Now, the question is, when will Safari have anywhere near the same level of support that Firefox or Chrome does? That's maybe a different question. But for basic WebRTC, it does work today.
Why do you think they fought it so much? I mean, do you think it was a technology issue, or is this like hey, we're Apple, we're not going down. We're going to do whatever we want to do.
Yeah. For a company the size of Apple, with all the things they could do, if they really wanted to do it, I mean, they would have done it long ago. The reality is, it wasn't high on their radar. Safari in general, I think, was not high on their priority list versus supporting their application developer community, which they monetize, right? They don't monetize Safari directly, right? So I think it's a lot of those factors that they decided to wait till the market matured, and now we're slowly implementing it.
And again, where can people read your blog?
It's WebRTCHacks.com.
There you go, guys. You got to check it out. I'm gonna bring him back, Chad, back at the end of the program. So we're gonna do a little round robin question. But now I want to get to the next guest because I want to have time for everyone. I want to bring you into Aaron. So Aaron, welcome to the show. First of all,
thank you.
What I love about you already is you have the biggest microphone I've ever seen in my life, which is incredible. And second thing I love is outside of streaming, which I live in every single day, and it's my biggest passion in the whole world. I love healthcare and digital health, and especially telehealth. So tell us a little bit about you, your organization, sure, and why healthcare.
Yeah, absolutely. So my background is in engineering, although at this point I'm really more CEO, strategy, sales. And I started WebRTC Ventures actually as a more generic software development agency about 7 years ago with a business partner in Costa Rica. And we have a highly distributed team around North and South America and working with clients around the world. So the whole idea of video conferencing is how we get through every day, right? Even more than people in an office. This is super important to us and a very natural way for us to work. So we were building a lot of real-time applications like data dashboards with real-time data exchange between the browsers and different technologies like that. And we were looking for what's the next big thing in real-time communications. And that was about the time that the WebRTC standard was first being discussed. And I ran into it first at a developer conference and realized, this opens up so much potential for communication and just lowering the barriers of being able to do this directly in your browser really opens up a lot of use cases. And so we started focusing on that as a company. At this point, that is our sole focus. and all of the outreach we do and all the new customers we bring in are somehow related to live video. And we do the custom design and development around that. And telehealth is the most popular, long time running, most popular use case of what people want to use WebRTC for. There's so much opportunity to improve the efficiency of healthcare and reduce costs and serve patients in rural communities. There's just a tremendous amount of opportunity to revolutionize healthcare through telehealth. And so it's a very fascinating area to be a part of.
Can I jump in for a second? Because just so some of the audience might not know, I mean, one of the biggest use for telehealth is, think about this, middle of the night, your kid wakes up with a fever and you don't know what to do. So do I want to bring him to an ER? No one wants to bring their kid to an ER. What do I want to do? All I want to know is so you call your physician up, and if your physician says on the phone, give him 2 baby aspirin, call me in the morning, you feel good. But how much better would it be if I can click a button and instantly be talking to a physician who also could be taking some of my vitals, right? My breathing, my heart rate, my blood oxygen, whatever we need, and be able to make a semi-diagnosis. I don't want them to cure my kid remotely. I just want someone to be looking at him and go, let him go to bed, it's going to be okay. I mean, that's right. Amazing. And one of the things that you sort of preached a little bit, WebRTC helps eliminate the identification process. What do you mean by that? And how does that tie into healthcare?
Yeah, so it could tie into a lot of different industries. And the key buzzword that you hear around that a lot is contextual communications.
Yep.
So because WebRTC can be embedded in any application, and that's basically what we do as a company, is we embed that into your custom application for you, or build that entire application for you. And that means that it can be embedded, the video can be embedded into the application in such a way that you know what else is going on around the video. So it's not just, I went to my doctor's website and I called the office and then they have to ask who I am. And, you know, if it's my family doctor, that's no big deal. But if I'm calling a big hospital or healthcare company, or say I'm just calling my bank, right? How many times on the phone do you have to re-give your name and, you know, identify yourself, your social security number? But if I'm on my bank website and I'm trying to make some transfer and it's not working, I'm trying to pay a bill, and I hit live support right now, I'm already logged into the site. The banking website already knows who I am. I'm already validated. So there's no need for me to identify myself. When that customer support agent comes on, they can see not only who I am and know that that's who I am, they can also see exactly what I'm doing on the website. You know, you could build in that level of knowledge into it so they can say, oh, Mr. Syme, I see that you're trying to make a transfer and you just got this error message. How can I help you today? Right? And how much better is that than going through agent after agent, repeating the same basic information and repeating your account number 1,000 times?
That's incredible. I mean, and I could sit here and brainstorm 1,000 different ways that every company, individuals would want to use it. And then you can think about the security side of it also, the ability to record it and not just having, I mean, if I ask for something from the bank, you have a record that I did it. And if I go back to Mark's business, how great is it that I can financially ask people questions as they're going on their roadshow, as they're doing a raise, as they're coming up with a new fund. I think it's amazing. And what's so far great about this panel is I have one guy who is building applications. We have a platform that's enabling. We have Pure 5. Go host your stuff on Pure 5 because it's going to be the best WebRTC. I have a guy sitting next to me, Mark, who is actually using it every day for financial institutions, which should be the last to go. So healthcare is embracing it. Financial services is embracing it. Technology is embracing it. The sky's the limit. So last question I got for you before I bring the whole panel on so we could ask a few questions is, what gets you excited in this space?
Well, I think you actually alluded to it earlier when you talked about you know, having the sick child at midnight and getting in touch with your doctor, because most of what we still see, you know, companies like Pure 5 are starting to are kind of helping us realize that there's more you can do with WebRTC than just video. And people like Chad and myself have been saying that in the space for a while, right? But most of the applications of WebRTC are still really focused around the video. But we've got this data channel side of it that, like you said, imagine that I not only get to call my doctor at midnight, but maybe through, a smart home device I already have, a smart watch or something that can connect to the app, and over a secure data channel, so that we could do this in, a HIPAA compliant fashion for the healthcare world, that I could send some vital information to that doctor in real time. And so it's that next wave. I love the video. I love being able to do that face-to-face, no matter the place kind of thing. But to the capability that we have to combine this with other types of data, as well as maybe even commands back and forth in the Internet of Things space, there's just so much potential that you can run in parallel to the video itself. And that really excites me to see where this is all headed.
Man, I wish I had a half an hour with each of these guys. So now let's bring everyone back in. Let's do a 2-shot of me and Mark when we get everyone back in. And I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions, but I also want you guys to use this time if there's something you want to plug, and also if there's something you want to ask one of the other panelists. But here's my number one thing that I want to know. To you guys, how important is it that finally we have a technology that I can consider 100% plug-in free? So let's start around the horn. We can start off with Aaron, and then we could just go across the panel.
Yeah, I think it's huge because having the plug-in free capability opens up a lot more use cases. And let's think about it on the mobile perspective for a moment. Even when WebRTC first became available in the browsers on the desktop, it was not available yet on mobile browsers. And so that meant that, and that created a problem for us in developing things, that we would have to say, you have to build a native application. As Chad was saying, it's still better in many cases to build a native application. But in some use cases now, you could just click on a link and open up a live video connection from your phone's browser immediately without having to download an app. So there are lots of use cases that your customers, your users may not want to download an application. And so to be able to do that through the mobile browser is huge.
All right, Chad, tell us, why is it so important to be plug-in free?
Plugins suck for a lot of reasons, and one, they're known security issues, right?
Can I quote you on that? 1 second. I just want to go back 1 second.
Yes.
Chad, can I quote you?
Absolutely.
Plugins suck, right?
But even from a user experience perspective, like you go and you want to join a video conference or something, and you have to go and download a 30, 60 megabyte application, right? It's ridiculous. And then trying to get that to work consistently, as Aaron was saying, across desktop and mobile, multiple mobile devices. And soon enough, the stuff will be inside your Echo Show and other embedded devices, right? It just doesn't work, right? And the one place where that has consistency across every platform is the browser. So the stuff belongs natively in the browser, right? And we're doing pretty well there. I mean, I can go into a lot more detail, but I'll leave it at that.
Well, again, people should check out your site, reach out to you. You do consulting. I mean, this is what this is about. We want to show the audience there's so many different things about WebRTC, why it's important, how they're probably using it today, and they don't even realize they're using it today. Frank, how important is it to be plug-in free?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for Peer 5's users, it's crucial, right? I mean, we deal with a lot of customers that are broadcasting their content across the world, right? A lot of these folks are on mobile. A lot of these folks are on like browsers where they don't want to be putting in plugins, things like that. It really opens up the ability to access this type of content for anyone, anywhere, right? And for our enterprise users, it's crucial.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, so
he doesn't have the bandwidth in his office. But look what the technology did, right? It goes to his partner, Guy. So Guy's going to jump in and finish Frank's questions. Listen, WebRT is perfect, but internet isn't. All right, Guy, tell us.
So
what was Frank saying?
But to repeat what Frank was saying is, I think it's part of the evolution of the internet. With the web browsers specifically, we started with XHRs, XML HTTP requests, and then came WebSockets that enabled more rapid communication. And it just a matter of time. It was a matter of time until we will have more real-time communication without a server in the middle. And to be honest, I think it's an enabler from Peer 5 aspect. It's an enabler to do stuff that specifically about the plugin, people would not have done with technology that is not plugin free. For example, if you're talking about the enterprise space and enterprise town hall meetings and internal communication, IT managers, they don't want to install any software or any plugin. They really prefer not to do it. So using Peer 5 and using Peer 5 WebRTC platform, they can do it plugin free, and it's just a matter of minutes to set up. And I think that's very important for everyone, and specifically for the Peer 5 use case.
It's a great answer. All right, now I want to turn to Mark, because when Mark started his business, there was a download, there was a plugin. How important is it now, and how much better is it that when they're using your WebRTC, they don't have to download something?
So I'll give you a real life example today. We're just finishing up at 2:30, 6 back-to-back sessions of a half hour each. And as you know, on Wall Street, one of the things everybody tries to do is at the end of the quarter, figure out how the company did. But you can't ask the company because they're in their quiet period. But you can do channel checks. And so this kind of ties in actually the healthcare and the Wall Street, because we basically have hospital due diligence day today. And each of these sessions, we're bringing in 3 different experts from this hospital, from this doctor's office, from the CFO thing. And each of those are joining.
Wow.
Nobody's joining from a conference room. They're either joining from a video service or a WebRTC. And we're able to kind of put them in a waiting room, just like we are today, bring them on, and it's 3 at a time. Without WebRTC, would not have been able to imagine this. Now, why is this interesting? City has 120 people up in a room up at 601 Lex watching it. All these 3 people coming in because they wanted to get those people into one, almost like a movie theater.
Yep.
And then they're at the same time streaming that out to another 150 people around the world that are not in the New York City area. And then they're also kind of pushing it to 6 different conference rooms throughout cities off in a global network. So it's a critical component of getting the content to the people at a timely basis.
Come on, how awesome is this show? I mean, how awesome is that we're talking about something that not only is now, it's what we're going to be doing tomorrow, and it's exciting. All right, I have 2 minutes with you guys. You guys each have 15 seconds, 20 seconds to tell us what's getting you guys the most excited, what you want to plug. Let's start off with Aaron.
Sure. So we are moving beyond being just integrators of WebRTC and building our own products that we're licensing to customers. A lot of use cases in the WebRTC space are similar. So rather than having to build everything from scratch, we have a couple of base products that we're starting to license to customers now, so that you can really focus on what's the case beyond a conferencing tool or a telehealth tool that really makes your business model special and valuable to your customers. So let's get right to that extra value that you deliver. So we're moving towards becoming a products company beyond just a services company.
That's awesome.
Very
I wish you
excited
nothing
about
but success. Everyone should check out Aaron's company. It's really cool. All right, Guy, you get to redeem yourself for losing internet. Give us a shameless plug. I mean, not Guy, I'm sorry, Frank.
Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, I think that we are just so excited at Peer 5 to be getting folks off of traditional CDNs and onto, a WebRTC based, great tool like Peer 5. So we're excited to get folks off their traditional CDNs, excited to get, folks in the enterprise, off of these traditional tools that just suck up all their bandwidth. So we're excited about all of that. We're excited to chat with anybody that's, trying to find a solution there. And we're going to be at NAB here in April. So we welcome anybody to come by our booth and say hi, and we'll be there.
Cool. All right, now I'm going to go to Chad before I go to you, Guy. Chad, before you tell me, one thing you're excited about, give us a little sneak. What's going to come out in this week's blog? Give us a sneak.
We just published a post today. It was somewhat relevant to some of the topics we're talking about now, where about progressive web apps, which is basically how you take a web app, basically how do you replace a downloadable app with something that you can just get right off the web that gives you the same great experience. We just posted that a couple hours ago. Awesome. And it's a good topic. You don't care about WebRTC, it's a good topic.
And your shameless plug, what do you want to tell the audience?
Well, I guess if you want to talk about WebRTC, go check out the blog or check out my consulting blog. My shameless plug is just I'm really excited about how much WebRTC has matured, particularly in the last year. It's really come a huge way to the point where a lot of people now think it's kind of boring, right? To me, that's a great sign.
When something gets boring, then I mean everyone's using it, which is a really good thing. All right, Guy. Shameless plug me.
Yeah, I mean,
give me something.
I'm excited about breaking records. We are going to break so many records this year, starting with the World Cup. I think we're going to have the biggest event ever broadcasted in terms of the number of viewers on the over IP. So as opposed to just regular broadcast where you can just air the finals of the Super Bowl or the finals of the World Cup, you can't do it without something like Peer 5, which is more distributed, as well as internal communication. Delivering a message from the CEO of a company, Fortune 50 company with 200,000 employees around the world is a very tedious task. And with Peer 5, it becomes transparently easy, and I'm really excited about that. And we're going to do events of 10 million people this year, and this is for me personally, from technology perspective and from business perspective, it's extremely cool.
It's amazing. And then when you look at this platform, the InExpo Studio platform, same thing. Last week's tens of thousands of people were on simultaneous events, reaching people globally. It's about using it for communication. All right, Mark, since you're next to me, you get the last thing to tell the audience. What advice do you give anyone who's going down this space?
In financial services, when I talk to directors of research and bankers, there are over 10 million meetings that take place physically every single year with research analysts and companies meeting with investors. Less than 1/10 of 1% are using video today. We are just at the beginning of seeing how all these tools finally get through the firewalls, finally use the cloud, and finally kind of break through. So in the same way that we're using video in our everyday life, 24 hours a day, we're just starting in financial services. And I suspect that's the same with other industries. Very excited to be a part of it. Very excited where WebRTC plays a role in that. Awesome. And it's going to be an incredible journey from here.
All right. I broke my number one rule in life. I made the event. It went for 36 minutes and it should have been 30 minutes. It's because I was loving the topic so much. I want to thank all my guests from the bottom of my heart. I'm humbled to be in the same broadcast as you guys. I feel like I'm not the smartest guy in the room when I talk to you guys, which is how I always want to be. I always want to be in a room where I'm not the smartest guy and I'm around really smart people and doing amazing things, and I appreciate it. Also, please check out our upcoming On Air. We're going to be doing one next month on GDPR. We're also going to be doing one on social media following that. Check out the guys who are on the panel today. Check out InExpo Studio. It's pretty amazing. And thank you for your time today. And we're out of here.